are you doing? Are you okay? Good. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today I will be reading part of Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson. I have always loved and admired Jacqueline's work. When I was about 11 years old, that is when I started reading her stories, especially the Girls series, and there are 4 in the series: Girls in Love, Girls Under Pressure, Girls Out Late, and Girls in Tears. There is a sequel that was released earlier this year, and it's called Think Again. Ellie, the main protagonist in the Girls series, was only 14 in these ones. In Think Again, she is now 40, so it is a long time. So I'm just going to get straight on with reading. I won't read all of the book, but I will read as much as I can possibly get through. Okay, chapter 1, One Girl. The first day back at school. I'm walking because I missed the bus. Not a good start. Year 9. I wonder what it'll be like. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. It's on that classic Beatles White album, the crazy mixed up bit at the end. I've always felt close to John Lennon, even though he died before I was born. I like him because he did all those crazy little drawings, and he wore granny glasses, and he was funny, and he always just did his own thing. I do crazy little drawings, and I wear granny glasses, and my friends think I'm funny. I don't get the opportunity to do my own thing, though. It's 8:30. If I was doing my own thing right now, I'd be back in bed, curled up, fast asleep. John Lennon had lions, didn't he? When he and Yoko stayed in bed all day. They even gave interviews to journalists in bed. Cool. So, if I could do my own thing, I'd sleep until midday. Then breakfast, hot chocolate and donuts. I'll listen to music and fool around in my sketchbook. Maybe watch a video. Then I'll eat again. I'll send out for a pizza. Though, maybe I should stick to salads. I guess it would be easy to put on weight lying around in bed all day. I don't want to end up looking like a beached whale. I'll have a green salad and green grapes. And what's a green drink? There's that liqueur I sipped round at Magda's. Creme de menthe? I can't say I was that thrilled. It was a bit like drinking toothpaste. Forget the drink. I'll phone Magda though, and Nadine, and we'll have a long natter. And then, well, it'll be the evening now, so I'll have a bath and wash my hair and change into... What should I wear in bed? Not my own teddy bear nightie, much too babyish. But I don't fancy one of those slinky satin numbers. I know, I'll wear a long white gown with embroidered roses, all colours of the rainbow, and I'll put a big flash ring on every finger and lie flat in my bed like Frida Kahlo. She's another one of my heroes, this amazing South American artist with extraordinary eyebrows and earrings and flowers in her hair. Okay, there I am, back in bed and looking beautiful. Then I hear the door opening. Footsteps. It's my boyfriend coming to see me. The only trouble is, I haven't got a boyfriend. Well, I haven't got a Frida Kahlo outfit, or a bedside phone, or my own television and video, and my bed sags because my little brother Eggs uses it as a trampoline whenever I'm not around. I could put up with all these deprivations. I'd just like a boyfriend. Please? Just as I'm thinking this, a beautiful blonde guy with big brown eyes comes sauntering round a car parked partly on the pavement. He steps to one side to get out of my way. Only I step the same way. He steps to the other side. So do I. We look like we're doing a crazy kind of two-step. Oh, whoops, sorry, I stammer. I feel my face flooding scarlet. He stays cool, one eyebrow slightly raised. He doesn't say anything, but he smiles at me. He smiles at me. Then he walks neatly past where I dither, still in a daze. I look back over my shoulder. He's looking back at me. He really is. Maybe he likes me. No, that's mad. Why should this really incredible guy, who must be at least 18, think anything of a stupid schoolgirl who can't even walk past him properly? He's not looking up, he's looking down. He's looking at my legs. Oh God, maybe my skirt really is too short. I turned it up myself last night. Anna said she'd shorten it for me, but I knew she'd only turn it up a centimetre or so. I wanted my skirt really short. Only I'm not that great at sewing. The hem went a bit bunchy. When I tried the skirt back on, there suddenly seemed a very large amount of chubby pink leg on show. Anna didn't say anything, but I knew what she was thinking. Dad was more direct. For God's sake, Ellie, that skirt barely covers your knickers. Honestly, I said, sighing, I thought you tried to be hip, Dad. Everyone wears their skirts this length. It's true, Magda's skirt is even shorter, but her legs are long and lightly tanned. She's always moaning about her legs, saying she hates the way the muscle sticks out at the back. She used to do ballet and tap and still does jazz dancing. She moans, but she doesn't mean it. She shows her legs off every chance she gets. Nadine's skirts are short too. Her legs are never brown. They're either black when she's wearing her peg tights or white when she has to go to school. Nadine can't stand getting suntanned. She's a very gothic girl with a vampire complexion. She's very willowy as well as white. Short skirts look so much better with slender legs. It's depressing when your two best friends in all the world are much thinner than you are. It's even more depressing when your stepmother is thinner too. With positively model girl looks, Anna is only 27, and she looks younger. When we go out together, people think we're sisters, only we don't look a bit alike. She's so skinny and striking, I'm little and lumpy. I'm not exactly fat. Not really. It doesn't help having such a round face. Well, I'm round all over. My tummy's round, my bum's round, even my stupid knees are round. Still, my chest is round too. Magda has to resort to a wonder bra to get a proper cleavage, and Nadine is utterly flat. I don't mind my top, I just wish there was much less of my bottom. God, what must I look like from the back view? No wonder he's staring. I scuttle around the corner, feeling such a fool. My legs have gone so wobbly, it's hard to walk. They look as if they're blushing too. Look at them. Pink as hams. Who am I kidding? Of course I'm fat. The waistband on my indecently short skirt is uncomfortably tight. I got fatter this summer. I just know I have. Especially these last 3 terrible weeks at the cottage. It's so unfair. Everyone else goes off on these really glamorous jaunts abroad. Magda went to Spain. Nadine went to America. I went to a damp, dreary cottage in Wales. And it rained, and it rained, and rained. I got so bored sitting around playing infantile games of Snap and Old Maid with eggs, and watching fuzzy telly on the black and white portable, and tramping through a sea of mud in my wellies that I just ate all the time. 3 meals a day and at least 33 snacks. Mars bars, jelly beans and popcorn, tortilla chips, salt and vinegar crisps, and Magnum ice creams, gobble, gobble, gobble. It's no wonder that I wobble. Yuck. My knees are actually wobbling as I walk. I hate walking. I don't see the point of going for a walk, lumbering along in this great big loop, just to get back to where you've come from. We always do so much walking in Wales. Dad and Anna always stride ahead. Little Eggs leaps about like a loony. Excuse me, I'm putting the light on because the video seems to have gone dark. There we are. I slouch behind them, mud sucking at my wellies. And I think to myself, this is fun. Why have a holiday cottage in Wales of all places? Why can't we have a holiday villa in Spain? Or a holiday apartment in New York? Magda and Nadine are so lucky. Okay, Magda was on a package tour and they stayed in a high-rise hotel. Nadine was early in Orlando doing a Disney, but I bet they both had brilliant sunshine every day. In our little bit of Wales, it's always the rainy season. Black clouds are a permanent fixture, like the mountains. It even rains inside the cottage because Dad thinks he can fix the roof slates himself. And he always makes a total botch of it. We have buckets and bowls and saucepans scattered all over upstairs, and day and night there's this drip, tinkle, splosh symphony. I got so utterly fed up and depressed that when we paid the usual visit to this boring old ruined castle, I felt like casting myself off the battlements. I leaned against the stone wall at the top, my heart still banging away like crazy from the awful climb, and wondered what it would be like to leap over into thin air. Would anyone seriously care if I ended up going splat on the cobblestones below? Dad and Anna had a firm grip on eggs, but they didn't make a grab at me, even when I leaned right over it, my head dangling. They actually wandered off hand in hand with him, mumbling about Baileys and boiling oil. They are overdoing the involved parent act. I doubt if Eggs can spell castle yet, so he's certainly not at the serious project stage. Dad never did all this stuff with me when I was little. He always seemed to be working or busy. When we went on holiday, he went off sketching, but I didn't care. I had Mum. Then. Thinking about Mum made me feel worse. People don't expect me to remember her still. They're mad. I can remember so much about her. Heaps and heaps of stuff. The games we used to play with my Barbie dolls, and the songs we'd sing, and how she'd let me put on her makeup and try on all her jewellery and a pink silk petticoat and her high heels. I want to talk about her so much, but whenever I try with Dad, he goes all tense and quiet. He frowns as if he has a headache. He doesn't want her to remember Mum, but he's got Anna now, and they've both got Eggs. I haven't got anyone. I started to feel so miserable and mooched off by myself. I walked to the other side of the battlements and found a crumbling turret. The entrance was roped off with a warning. I ducked under the rope and climbed up all these dank steps in the dark. Then I put my foot on a step that wasn't there and tripped, banging my shin. It wasn't that painful, but I found I was crying. You can't really climb when you're crying, so I sat down and sobbed. After a while, I realised I didn't have a tissue. My glasses were all wet and my nose was running. I wiped and sniffed as best I could. The stone steps were very cold and the damp spread through my jeans, but I still sat there. I suppose I was waiting for Dad to come looking for me. I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And then I heard footsteps. I sat still, listening. Quick, light footsteps. Too light for Dad. Too quick for me to get out of the way in time. Someone tripped right over me and we both screamed. Ow! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have a clue anyone was sitting there. You're kneeling on me. Sorry. Here, let me help you up. Careful. He was hauling so vigorously we both nearly toppled downwards. Whoops. Watch out. I struggled free and stood with my back against the damp wall. He stood up too. It was too dark to make out more than a face shape. What were you doing sitting in the dark? You haven't hurt yourself, have you? I wasn't hurt. I might be now. I still feel very squashed. Sorry. I keep saying that, don't I? Though it is a bit crackers to crouch like that in the dark. Next time you might get a whole troop of Boy Scouts hiking over you. Or a coachload of American tourists trampling you with their trainers. Or... I'm burbling. It's difficult making conversation when you can't see. Let's go on up to see if it gets any lighter. I don't think you can. The step seems to give out. Oh, well, that figures. Let's go back down then. I hesitated, having a quick wipe of my face with the back of my hand. There wasn't much point sitting there any longer. Dad and Anna and Eggs had probably forgotten all about me. When we went back to the cottage, they'd suddenly snapped their fingers 3 days later. What's happened to Ellie? They'd say and shrug and forget about me again. The boy seemed to think I was timid. I'll hold your hand if you like, to help you down. I can manage perfectly, thanks, I said. Though it was a bit hairy feeling our way down. The steps seemed more slippery and there wasn't a handrail. I stumbled once and he grabbed me. Careful! I'm being careful, I said. I bet you there's an attendant waiting for us at the bottom to nag us right about the danger, he said. That's the trouble, though. The minute I see something roped off, I have this desperate urge to explore inside. So consequently, I'm forever in a fix. Dopey Dan. That's what my family and friends call me when they're narked. I'm Daniel, but I'm only called that when they're really, really, really going ballistic. It's plain Dan most of the time." He went on like this until we emerged, blinking into the daylight. Plain Dan was perfect. He had wild exploding hair and a silly little snub nose that he twitched to hitch his glasses into place. I blinked through my own smeary specs and focused properly. "It's you," we said simultaneously. His family had another equally damp and dilapidated holiday cottage about half a mile down the valley from us. We saw them in the village spa buying their groceries, and they were often in the pub in the evenings too. My dad and his dad sometimes played darts together. Anna and Dan's mum sat and made strange conversation. They looked like they came from different planets, even though they were both in jeans and jerseys and boots. Anna's jeans show off her tiny tight bum, and her jersey is an artwork designer sweater, and her boots have got buckles and pointy toes. Dan's mum has a bum much bigger than mine. Her jumpers were all too tight too. One of them was actually unravelling. Her boots were serious walking boots caked with mud. The whole family were serious walkers, whatever the weather. We'd see them setting out in a downpour in their orange cuggles, and hours later we'd spot these mobile marigolds at the top of a dim, distant mountain. There were 5 children, all earnest and old-fashioned, but Dan was the eldest. About my age, a good inch shorter than me, even though I'm little. He had a fat guidebook about castles sticking out his cuggle. Typical. "We made it," he said, as if we'd just returned from outer space. He tried to jump the rope in triumph and tripped. "No wonder they call you Dopey Dan," I mumbled as I skirted the rope. There was still no sign of Dad and Anna and Eggs. Maybe they had really gone off without me. "What's your name?" Dan asked, brushing himself down. "Rapunzel." "What? Well, I found you languishing in a tower, didn't I?" I suddenly had memories of Little Lady Bird fairy tale book. "Are you into fairy tales?" I said. I intended it as an insult, but he took me seriously. "I don't mind them, actually. Some. My dad gave me a copy of the Mabinogion. Seems we're in Wales." He could well have been speaking Welsh for all the sense he was making. "It's old Welsh fairy stuff, dead romantic in parts. I'll lend you the book if you like." "I don't think it sounds my sort of thing." "So what's your sort of thing, eh? What do you like reading? What's that little black book you've always got with you?" I was surprised. He must have been watching me carefully. I usually keep my book hidden in my jacket pocket. "That's just my little sketchbook." "Let's have a look then," he said, patting my pocket. "No. Go on, don't be shy." "I'm not the slightest bit shy. It's private." "What sort of thing do you sketch?" "Castles." "Not castles." "Mountains." "Not mountains either." "Then what?" "God, you aren't half nosy." He wrinkled his snub nose at me cheerfully. I gave him. "I don't sketch, I draw. Stylized pictures. Cartoons." "Oh, great. I love that sort of stuff. Do you ever do comic strips?" "I love Calvin and Hobbes and Asterix. I've got all those books. Look, I've even got Snowy on my socks." He hitched up his jeans and straightened his socks, which were all bunched up in his woolies trainers. "Very cute," I said. He grinned. Okay. I know my clothes aren't exactly hip." He was dead right there. If I was home, I'd be terrified of being seen talking to him. But he was kind of fun in a silly, lollopy way, as persistent as a puppy. He didn't even seem to mind me being so snappy with him. How I wouldn't normally have been anywhere near as sharp. It was just I was getting seriously bothered about my stupid family. His family were all down in the grounds, peering knowledgeably at little heaps of stones. One of his sisters looked up and spotted us. "Hey, Dan, come on down, we need your castle book." All the other little marigolds waved and shouted. "I better get cracking, they won't stop now they've started," said Dan. "Are you coming?" I followed him down. Dad, Anna and Eggs weren't anywhere. Maybe I'd have to join up the marigolds. I was getting so desperate that it began to seem an attractive idea. But guess who I came across strolling around the outside the castle walls? Dad and Anna and Eggs. They didn't look the slightest bit concerned. "Hi, Ellie," said Dad. "Hey, have you made a friend?" "Great." Dan grinned. I glared. "Where have you been?" I demanded. "Well, we were showing Eggs the way medieval people went to the loo in the castle. Then he needed to go himself, so we had to travel right over to the toilets." "Oh, poor Ellie, were you getting worried?" "No, of course not," I said sulkily. "See you around." "Ellie," said Dan. I did see him around a few times after that, mostly with the marigolds and Eggs. One day we joined up for a picnic. It even drizzled that day, so we ate damp sandwiches, soggy sausages and mushy crisps. No one else seemed to find this depressing. Dan was especially good at keeping all the little ones amused. Eggs adored him. I got sick of all this clowning around and went and sat on a wet rock and drew. I was doodling away when a shadow fell across my page. I snapped my book shut. Let me see, said Dan. No. Meanie. Go on, special favour, seeing as it's the last days of the halls. Oh, thank God. What? I can't stick this dump. You're mad, it's fantastic. Anyway, who wants to go back home? School on Monday. Yuck. 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 I wonder what it'd be like. In year 9. You're not going to be in year 9, I said. I'd found out Dan was only 12. Not even a teenager yet. I am. Rubbish, you'll be in year 8 with all the other little boys. I am going to be in year 9, honest. Dan looked unusually embarrassed. I've been put up a year, right? God, because you're so brainy. You've got it. Trust you. I should have sussed you out for a right swat. You ought to be pleased you're going out with a boy of mega brain power, said Dan. We're not going out, idiot. I wish we could. What? I like you, Ellie, he said seriously. Will you be my girlfriend? No, of course not. You're just a baby. Don't you fancy having a toy boy? Definitely not. Can't I see you sometimes? You not, Stan. You live in Manchester, I live in London, right? Well, can we write to each other then? He nagged on and on until I gave in and scribbled my address on a page from my sketchbook. On a page torn from my sketchbook. Sorry about that. He's probably lost it already, knowing Dan. Not that I want to know him. He won't bother writing, even if he's still got the address, and even if he does, I don't think I'll reply. There's no point. I mean, he's just this irritating little kid. I suppose he's okay in small doses, but he's not exactly boyfriend material. Oh dear, if he was only 5 years older, not all nerdy and nutty, why can't he be really cool with fantastic hair, fair hair and dark brown eyes? I wonder if I'll see that blonde boy again tomorrow. I slow down, going all dreamy just thinking about him, then I catch sight of my face in a shop window. I look like I'm brain dead. Eyes glazed, mouth open, then I see the clock at the back of the shop and it's gone 9. Gone 9? It can't be. It is. Gone 9, number 9, my first day in year 9, and I'm going to be in trouble before I'd even started. So, that was chapter 1. Apologies for the bits where I stumbled over my words. I'm not usually like that. Sometimes I do that, but sometimes I can usually read it word perfect. Anyway, apart from all that, I really hope that you enjoyed me reading to you. I shall read the next chapter very soon, but for now, please don't forget to like and share my video, comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and bye bye.